Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
And speaking of sparking conversations, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the technology they're using in these SeaPods.
Okay.
One thing that caught my attention was their focus on minimizing EMF exposure.
Okay. They even have a specially designed smart home system that avoids using radio waves.
Now that's intriguing. I'm curious to know more about that. What are EMFs and why are people concerned about them?
So EMFs, or electromagnetic fields, are invisible areas of energy associated with the use of electrical power.
Right.
And various forms of natural and man-made lighting.
Okay.
Some people believe that exposure to high levels of EMFs from sources like cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, and power lines can have negative health effects.
So Ocean Builders is catering to those concerns by creating a low EMF living environment?
It seems so. They mentioned that their homes have a unique smart home system.
Okay.
Where all the sensors and devices are wired.
Okay.
With special EMF shielding wires.
Okay.
Bringing potentially harmful radio waves to a minimum.
So instead of relying on wireless signals,
they're
going old school with hard wiring.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they point out that the only wireless tech in the pod is internet Wi-Fi, which residents can even set to automatically shut down throughout the house at a specified time each day.
It sounds like they're going to great lengths to create an electromagnetically clean living space. But is there any scientific evidence to support these concerns about EMFs?
That's where things get a little murky.
Okay.
The science on the health effects of EMFs is still evolving.
Okay.
Some studies have suggested a possible link between long-term exposure to high levels of EMFs and certain health conditions, but the evidence isn't conclusive.
So it's more of a precautionary measure than a proven necessity.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Some people are more sensitive to EMFs than others.
Right.
And for those individuals, a low EMF environment might offer peace of mind.
It's interesting that Ocean Builders is tapping into this growing awareness of EMFs and offering a solution.
Yeah. It's another example of how they're trying to create a living environment that caters to a specific set of values and preferences.
And it speaks to their broader vision of creating a healthier and a more sustainable way of life.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're not just focused on the physical structure of the home, but also on the invisible factors that contribute to well-being.
It's a holistic approach, considering both the physical and energetic aspects of the living environment. Speaking of tech that improves your life, let's talk about the SeaPod Smart Bed.
Right.
They make some pretty interesting claims about what it can do.
Well, it seems like they've spared no expense when it comes to incorporating cutting-edge technology into their homes. The Smart Bed, for example, isn't just about adjusting the temperature. Or firmness. They mention it having dual zone presence detection.
Which means it can sense when someone is in bed and adjust accordingly.
Wow.
They also talk about a dual zone vibration alarm.
Okay.
Which could be useful for waking up gently without disturbing your partner.
So it's like having a sleep lab.
Yeah.
Built right into your bed.
Pretty much.
What's next?
Yeah.
A built-in massage therapist.
Well, they don't mention that, but who knows what the future holds. They do, however, talk about Cora.
Okay.
Their private voice assistant.
Right.
She's designed to control all aspects of the home.
Okay.
From lighting and temperature to security and entertainment.
Okay.
You can even personalize her to respond to your specific commands and preferences.
It's like having a personal butler.
Yeah.
Who lives inside your walls.
Pretty much.
I wonder if she makes a good cup of coffee.
Hopefully. They emphasize that Cora is open source, which means you can theoretically customize her programming and add new features as you see fit.
Right.
It gives residents a lot of control over their smart home environment.
That's pretty cool. It sounds like they're really trying to create a seamless and intuitive living experience.
Yeah.
But with all this tech, wouldn't you be worried about things going wrong?
Right.
What if the power goes out or you lose your internet connection?
Yeah.
How do you even call for help if you're, miles from shore?
Those are all good questions.
Yeah.
They do mention backup generators for those inevitable power outages.
Okay.
And I'd imagine they have some sort of backup plan.
Yeah.
For internet connectivity, perhaps using satellite or cellular technology.
Right.
As for emergencies, well, that's a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
They would need a reliable system in place to ensure the safety and security of their residents.
It's definitely something to consider. When you're living in a highly automated environment, especially one that's literally in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
You need to be prepared for the unexpected.
Absolutely. It's all about finding the right balance between embracing the convenience of technology and maintaining a degree of self-sufficiency and resilience.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the sustainability, the potential risks.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the actual experience of living in a SeaPod?
Yeah.
What would it feel like to wake up every morning surrounded by water?
That's a question that's hard to answer without actually experiencing it.
Right.
But based on their descriptions, I imagine it would be incredibly peaceful.
Okay.
And serene.
Okay.
Imagine waking up to the sound of gentle waves lapping against your home, watching the sunrise over the horizon, and feeling the cool ocean breeze on your face.
That does sound incredibly relaxing. But wouldn't it get a little lonely out there?
Right.
And what about practical things like grocery shopping or going to work?
Yeah.
Would you be constantly commuting back and forth to land?
Those are valid concerns. It really depends on your personality and lifestyle. Yeah. Some people thrive on solitude.
Right.
While others need more social interaction, and that's where their vision of a floating community becomes important. They imagine multiple SeaPods clustered together, creating a small village on the water with shared resources and amenities.
So you wouldn't necessarily be completely isolated,
right?
And what about getting to and from the mainland? Yeah,
they're exploring a variety of transportation solutions, from underwater vehicles to drone delivery services.
Okay.
They want to make it easy to get the things you need, and to stay connected to the outside world while still enjoying the peace and tranquility of ocean living.
It's a fascinating concept, blending cutting edge technology with a back to nature ethos.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder, who is this lifestyle really for? Is it for wealthy retirees looking for a peaceful escape?
Mm-hmm.
Or adventurous entrepreneurs who want to be at the forefront of innovation?
Right.
Or is it for something else entirely?
That's a great question. I think it could appeal to a wide range of people depending on their values and motivations.
Sure.
Some might be drawn to the environmental aspect, the idea of living in a more sustainable way.
Okay.
Others might be attracted to the technological innovations and the futuristic feel of it all.
Right.
And some might simply crave the peace and tranquility of living on the water, away from the hustle and bustle of city life.
It's almost like they've created a blank slate, a new frontier where people can come and define their own way of life.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting. It's an opportunity to reimagine what's possible and create a new future for ourselves.
But let's not forget about the people behind this vision.
Right.
We've mentioned Grant Romont, the CEO.
Yeah.
But there's also Omer Sebastian Larrañaga, the mechatronics engineer.
Right.
What can you tell us about them?
Well, Grant Romont is a true visionary.
Right.
He's been involved in the tech industry for decades, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible. He's passionate about futuristic concepts and turning them into reality.
He sounds like the perfect person to lead a company like Ocean Builders.
Exactly. And then there's Omer Sebastian Larrañaga, the brains behind the SeaPod's sophisticated technology.
Right.
He's a brilliant engineer with a deep understanding of mechatronics, which is a combination of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science.
So he's the one making sure all those high-tech features actually work.
Precisely, yeah. He's responsible for designing and implementing things like the smart home system, the energy and water management systems, and even the drone delivery infrastructure.
It's amazing to think about the level of expertise and innovation that's going into these SeaPods.
And it's a testament to the power of human ingenuity.
Yeah.
We have the ability to create incredible things when we put our minds to it.
So we've got a visionary CEO, a brilliant engineer, and a team of passionate individuals.
Yeah.
Dedicated to making this vision a reality. It's inspiring to see people pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It is, and it makes you wonder what other innovations are just around the corner.
Yeah.
What other ways of living might we see in the future?
Those are fantastic questions to ponder. The potential for innovation in this space is truly limitless. But for now, let's focus on what we know. We've talked about the SeaPod, the EcoPod, and the GreenPod. But are there any other models in the works?
That's a good question. The materials we have don't mention any other specific models.
Okay.
However, they do hint at the possibility of future developments. They talk about being in the early pioneering days of a revolutionary new way of living.
Okay.
And that entirely new industries will be born as civilization starts expanding into the sea.
So they're not limiting themselves to just these three models. They see this as the beginning of something much bigger.
Exactly, yeah. They imagine a future where there are entire floating cities.
Wow.
Complete with homes, businesses, schools, hospitals, and everything else you'd find in a land-based city.
It's a bold vision, but is it realistic?
That's the question, isn't it? There are certainly challenges to overcome.
Right.
But if we can harness the power of technology and innovation, who knows what's possible?
It's exciting to think about.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a moment.
Okay.
We've talked about the big picture, but what about the little details? What are some of the things that surprised you about these SeaPods?
Honestly, I was surprised by the level of luxury and attention to detail.
Okay.
I was expecting something more utilitarian, more focused on functionality over comfort.
Right.
But they've really gone all out in creating a luxurious and stylish living space.
I was struck by the emphasis on smart home technology.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've designed a system to minimize EMF exposure.
Right.
It's clear that they're trying to create a healthy and harmonious living environment.
And I was fascinated by the inclusion of a shower climbing grip in the GreenPod.
Right.
It's a playful nod to the adventurous nature of ocean living.
It's definitely a detail that sticks in your mind.
It does, yeah.
But beyond the individual features, I think what surprised me most was their vision for a blue economy.
Right.
They're not just building homes.
Right.
They're trying to create a whole new economic ecosystem around ocean living.
Yeah.
That's ambitious. I'm really curious to hear more about their plans for this blue economy.
Yeah.
We've briefly touched on their Blue Economy Incubator residential program, but I'd love to dig a little deeper. What exactly does this program entail?
It's a really interesting concept. Essentially, they're inviting entrepreneurs, innovators, and anyone with a passion for ocean living to join their community and collaborate on developing new solutions for this emerging frontier.
So it's like a think tank meets a startup incubator, all happening on the ocean.
Exactly, and they're not just talking about tech startups.
Okay.
They're looking for people with expertise in a wide range of fields.
Okay.
From marine biology and engineering to sustainable agriculture and even underwater tourism.
They mentioned entrepreneurs in one of their articles.
Right.
Which I have to admit is a pretty catchy term.
It definitely captures the spirit of this program.
Yeah.
They want to foster a community of people who are passionate about finding innovative and sustainable ways to live and work on the ocean.
So what does participation look like? Do people actually live in the SeaPods while they're working on their projects?
That's the idea. It's a residential program,
yeah.
which means participants get to live in the SeaPods and experience ocean living firsthand,
right.
while collaborating with like-minded individuals.
Right.
They even mention the possibility of participating remotely.
Okay.
For those who aren't ready to make the full leap to ocean living just yet.
That's pretty cool. It's a great way to attract a diverse group of people with different skills and backgrounds.
Right.
But what kinds of projects are they looking for?
Yeah.
Do they have specific areas of focus?
They seem to be open to a wide range of ideas.
Okay.
They mention things like developing new technologies for sustainable aquaculture.
Right.
Creating closed-loop waste management systems.
Okay.
Designing underwater vehicles.
Wow.
And even exploring new forms of ocean-based recreation and tourism.
Wow, that's quite a range.
Yeah.
It really speaks to the vast potential of the ocean as a space for human innovation and creativity.
And they're not just throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well,
they've actually created a platform where people can submit project proposals and connect with potential collaborators and investors. They're actively trying to foster a supportive ecosystem for ocean-based innovation.
So they're building a community.
Yeah.
A movement even. It's not just about the technology or the homes. It's about creating a new way of life.
Right.
And inviting others to join them.
Exactly. They're tapping into a growing desire among certain people to live more sustainably, right. to connect with nature and to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
It's a powerful message, and it resonates with a lot of the trends we're seeing in the world today.
Yeah.
People are looking for alternatives to the traditional ways of living and working. They're seeking out experiences that are meaningful and fulfilling.
Right.
And they're increasingly concerned about the environmental impact of their choices.
Ocean Builders is offering a solution that addresses all of those concerns.
Oh, wait.
It's a vision of a future where technology and nature coexist in harmony, where sustainability is a core value,
right.
and where community and collaboration are essential to success.
It's a future I can definitely get behind. But I have to admit, I still have some lingering questions.
Yeah.
For example, what about the legal and regulatory aspects of ocean living?
Right.
Is it even legal to build permanent residences on the ocean?
Yeah.
And who governs these communities?
That's a really important question, and unfortunately one that our current materials don't address in detail. I imagine there are complex legal and regulatory hurdles to overcome.
Right.
When it comes to establishing permanent ocean-based communities.
Right. Things like zoning laws, building codes, and environmental regulations would all come into play.
Right.
And then there's the question of sovereignty.
Yeah.
If you're living in international waters, whose laws do you follow?
It's a bit of a legal gray area right now. But I think as ocean living becomes more common, we'll see new laws and regulations emerge to address these issues.
It's like the Wild West out there.
Yeah, it is.
But hopefully, as this new frontier develops, we'll find ways to govern it responsibly,
right,
and equitably.
I agree, and it's an opportunity to create new models of governance that are more sustainable.
Okay.
And inclusive than traditional land-based systems.
So there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
But that's part of what makes this so exciting. We're at the very beginning of a new era of human exploration and settlement.
Right.
And we have the chance to shape it in a way that benefits both people and the planet.
It's a daunting task, but also an incredible opportunity.
Right.
And it's one that I'm personally very excited to witness unfold.
Me too. Well, I think it's time to bring part 2 of our deep dive to a close.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the specifics of SeaPod technology to the broader implications of ocean living for the future of humanity.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope it's sparked some curiosity and perhaps even a little bit of wanderlust in our listeners.
I have no doubt it has. We'll be back soon to continue this conversation and delve deeper into the world of ocean builders.
Great.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We've been exploring this fascinating world of ocean living, and I'm ready to hear about some of the more futuristic aspects of ocean builders' plans. They've hinted at some pretty wild ideas, and I'm all ears.
Well, get ready to have your mind blown, because they talk about a future with entire floating cities. Imagine self-sustaining communities on the ocean, complete with homes, businesses, schools, hospitals, and everything you'd find in a land-based city.
Floating cities. That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. But how realistic is that, really?
It's definitely a bold vision, and there are a lot of challenges to overcome. Think about the logistics of building and maintaining these massive structures, providing essential services like power and water, and ensuring the safety and security of residents.
And what about transportation? How would people get around within these floating cities? And how would they connect to the mainland?
They talk about underwater vehicles and drone delivery systems, and they even mention the possibility of using tunnels or bridges to connect these cities to land.
Underwater tunnels connecting floating cities. Now that's a vision of the future I can get behind.
It's definitely ambitious, but who knows what's possible with advancements in technology and engineering.
It all sounds very Jetsons-esque. But let's zoom in on those SeaPods again. You mentioned earlier that they sit on these spar structures. What exactly is a spar, and how does it keep these homes stable on the water?
Good question. A spar is a long cylindrical structure that extends deep below the water's surface. It acts like a giant, super stable buoy, providing a secure foundation for the SeaPod to rest on. Think of it like a really, really big fishing bobber.
Okay, I could picture that. So it's not just bobbing around on the surface. It's anchored to something deep below the water, which keeps it from tipping over.
Exactly. And they say that these spars are designed to withstand even the harshest ocean conditions, so you can feel safe and secure in your SeaPod, even during storms.
That's reassuring to know. They also talk about these SeaPods being self-sufficient in terms of power and water. Can you explain how that works?
They've designed these homes to be as eco-friendly and sustainable as possible. They're powered by solar panels with backup generators for when the sun isn't shining, and they have rainwater collection systems and desalination units to provide a constant supply of fresh water.
So you're generating your own electricity and creating your own drinking water. It's like having your own little off-grid oasis in the middle of the ocean.
Pretty much. And they're also very conscious of waste management, using gray water and black water tanks to recycle and treat wastewater responsibly.
It sounds like they've thought of everything. But even with all these amazing features, I can't help but wonder about the social aspect of ocean living. Would you feel isolated out there? How would you connect with other people? Would there be a sense of community?
They recognize that community is important. They envision these SeaPods being clustered together in small villages where residents can interact with each other and share resources. And they're developing transportation solutions to make it easy to travel between SeaPods and to visit the mainland.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a solitary existence. You could have neighbors, friends, and even a local pub, all within a short swim or boat ride away.
Exactly. And they're actively encouraging the development of social spaces and community events within these ocean-based communities.
They're really trying to create a vibrant and thriving culture around this whole ocean living concept.
They are. And it's not just about creating a place to live, it's about creating a new way of life. A way of life that's connected to nature, that values sustainability, and that fosters a sense of community and belonging.
It's a pretty inspiring vision. And I have to say, I'm starting to warm up to this whole idea.
Me too. It's definitely food for thought. It challenges us to think outside the box and consider new possibilities for how we can live and interact with our planet.
It makes you wonder what other amazing innovations are just around the corner. What will the world look like in 50 or 100 years?
It's exciting to imagine, isn't it? And to think that we might be witnessing the very beginning of a new era of human exploration and settlement.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of ocean builders. We've explored their vision, their technology, and the potential impact of ocean living on the future of humanity.
It's been a fascinating journey full of surprises and thought-provoking insights.
I agree, and I hope it's inspired our listeners to think about the world in new ways and to embrace the possibilities of the future.
To our listeners out there, what are your thoughts on all of this? Would you consider living on the ocean? What excites you about this vision? What concerns you?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, and remember, the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.